Great. That sucks.
Warning: this program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to Talk It Out, where we talk it out. My name is Jerry Rashad, and I'm so happy to be with you all today. Today is a very special day because today is the very first 24-hour live stream brought to you by Nelly Media. And of course, we got through the entire day without any technical difficulties, and they all decided to start happening right now. For some reason, I'm not allowed to stream to you all on my personal Facebook, which is where most of people watch this. So if you are watching and you're not on my personal Facebook, please like and tag everybody so that everybody can see this, because it won't let me connect to my Facebook. Anyway, thank you for being with us. We've been here for 24 hours well, not 24 hours yet. We're on hour 20. And today it's a fundraiser for Flirting with Destiny, which is going to be Nelly Media's very first self-produced project. It is a web series about a woman who is, young in the city, hustling, making her moves. And, her aunt gives her this gift that changes her world. It's basically like Sex in the City with magic. So we want to self-produce it. We're going to film it this summer, and we're raising money for it. The goal is to get to $1,000 by the end of the night. Hopefully we'll make our goal. And the long-term goal is to get to $5,000. So if you're watching right now and you'd like to donate, please head over to gofundme.com/f/flirtingwdestiny and donate. If you're watching us right now, please like and share so that we can get some interaction. Make sure you also head over to our YouTube, click a like button, give us a comment, make sure you subscribe, and when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever there is new content. Okay. Also, yes, share this video. Share. All right. Talk It Out is a place where people of opposing views get together and have a healthy and productive dialogue in a respectful way. Keeping in mind that it's not always about proving who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes it's simply about listening and being heard. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start introducing our panel. All right, let's start with our returning panelists. As always, we've had this person be on like a few panels today. One of the Nelly Media family members. He's joining the family via Sip and Kiki, which kicked off our live stream. A new pop culture digest show where we just basically talk shit about everything, reality TV, music, and etc. Please welcome Tristan Daniels to Talk It Out. Hey, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel very
His birthday.
I feel very happy to be birthdayed currently. So
also, I was thinking maybe so I shared Rakia's post on my Facebook, so
Yeah.
maybe you can like share it. Maybe you can't
about
post
to.
it in yours, but maybe you can share her.
Right. It won't let me. I don't know why. But it's okay because guess what?
It's cool.
We will continue. So,
Okay.
All right. Next panelist joining us is how can I describe a friend of mine from high school who is a mother and also I'm gonna say she's like soothing but passionate. Let's say that. Let's welcome T to the panel. Do we have sound, T? You're muted though, so we definitely don't have that. Nope, I don't hear you.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah.
Yes, there you are. We hear you. No, we don't. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna fix it.
Fixed right now. How about now?
Yes.
Do we got something?
Yes.
We
Tristan,
hear
you're
you.
muted. We hear
I was
you.
muted.
Okay, great.
Yay!
Yes.
I fixed it.
Yes. There is solace. Thank you so much. All right. Next joining us on the panel is another returning panelist. Now, this returning panelist was on episode 3 of the podcast. One of my best friends in the whole widest world, even though right now we're in a best friend war because I'm trying to steal his best friend. He doesn't really give me any energy, but it's on my list of things to do. It is absolutely a goal of mine to make sure that his best friend Jeter, who's also joining the Nelly Media family in First Time Financial, is officially my best friend. Let's welcome Garrett Gray to Talk It Out, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Duryea. Happy birthday, Duryea.
Happy birthday, Garrett. Garrett's birthday was just the other day, 2 days ago. So we're almost birthday twins. We're birthday siblings.
Almost.
So how are you?
I am good today. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me back on.
Thank you. I've been trying to get Garrett on. I literally had to have a 24-hour live stream for him to show back up on the show.
Yeah. I don't like to talk a lot of times.
I was like, hey, it's charity. I guess I'll do it. Yes. So, all right. Our next returning panelist is another person who was on y'all were on the same episode together, actually, the first episode. The episode we did about toxic masculinity in the LGBT community. And he's also been on Geeking Out. And he's a geek fellow extraordinaire. We're not allowed to talk about Scarlet Witch or anything WandaVision around him. So we're going to try to make that happen. Let's welcome Justin to the panel. What's up, Justin?
Hi, hello. No spoilers. Thank you.
I mean, I won't spoil it, but look at this one. That one. Okay, how are you?
I'm well. I have apparently found myself in the middle of a best friend rivalry civil war. So that's going to be interesting for our panel today.
And what's bad is that it's civil. Like, I be definitely trying to bring smoke, and I'd be like, I'm trying to steal your best friend. He said, oh, okay. And that's always the energy, and that just makes me even more sad.
That's how unbothered he is.
I don't owe my friends.
I owe mines, period. This is where it started. It started because he stole my best friend in college.
Man.
Me and him were best friends for 3 years. Garrett shows up. All of a sudden, he's always hanging out with Garrett. I'm like, why you always with Garrett? What's up with that? And the next thing, they're like, we're cool. We friends. That's mine. And I'm like, bet. I see it. And I've been plotting, waiting for the day. So it's on.
The time is here.
The time is now. All right. Another great friend of mine from college who is a director. Well, she directed me in one of my favorite performances in one of my favorite shows. Another soothing individual. When I say soothing, it's because they the way they speak is so thoughtful and patient, and I love that. Let's welcome Christine to the panel. Back to the panel.
Hi, y'all. Thanks, Duryea, for that introduction. That's so sweet.
That is literally when everyone's like Christine, I'm like, yes, Christine. You know what I'm saying? That's just the energy I have.
Well, I'll continue to try to channel that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Next panelist joining us is, I'm not sure if he's on camera or not, because I can't tell. He sometimes he's in his car, so I'm not sure if he's dark. But Jose, or Davila, who is, I can see he's in the car. I can see the little light in the corner. So he's in the car.
He's here.
He's here. Jose, can you speak? You're muted.
Yes, I may speak.
Bet. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Glad to be coming home soon. And howdy, y'all.
Great. And we have one more panelist joining us. This is a panelist who is the host of a political show called Politically Provoked. It is politically provoking. And she is one of their panelists / I guess a moderator more. She debates, but she's more the moderator of the debates and sets the rules and, make sure everything goes steady. Let's welcome Brittany to the panel.
Hi guys, happy birthday to both of y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Pisces time.
Yeah,
Listen,
my son's on Sunday, so more Pisces.
Bet. If you're Aries, fuck you.
What?
Oh, Jesus.
They're what we're supposed to be morphing into.
Well, I just feel like, listen, I literally have real life Facebook beef with a friend of mine from high school named Valencia. She decided to get on the internet and be like, oh, Pisces, nobody care about y'all. And that's the worst thing you can say around me. So we're low key in a beef war too. So I got a lot of beef. I got best friend beef. I got
astrology beef.
Astrology right.
beef.
And it's getting late at night, so I'm ready for whatever comes my way. Right. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Who dat?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that's on everything. So before we hop into our current events for tonight, because we actually have to stay on time. Thank you. And I know Justin's hype about that. He's like, yes, we're going to get out of here on time. Whose baby is that?
Somebody
T.
mad.
It's T's baby, ain't it? She's the only one with a baby. Right. So essentially, as long as we can hear the baby, we can hear you. So that's
She's
good.
yelling at her brother.
So before we go into our main topic for the night, I want to show you all some ads. But one of these ads is just a little introduction to the cast who are going to be making up the 3 main characters in Flirting with Destiny. And we'll be right back with some current events.
I'm excited to be in a show with them finally.
Oh wow, it has been a while. For Color Girls was the last show we were all. That was
the first show
10 years ago.
Yes.
Oh no, don't delete that out.
That was pre-Whoa Nelly Media, but
Yes.
it was in fact a Duryea Rashad production.
Yes.
So there
It's
you
the
go.
first time we did a show
I
together.
know.
Babies.
We
Like
were
full circle.
babies, so we'll really see how much we've grown. That'd be great. Yeah, I love it.
So here we are. So excited. So great.
Oops. Yes, that was ads for RPG from Shadowrun missions. RPG Shadowrun missions from Rem Alternis. I'm fading. Okay, which are every Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Twitch.tv/Master of Rem, and that was the cast of Flirting with Destiny, which will be brought to you by Well Nelly Media by the end of the summer, hopefully. All right, let's do some current events. So what are we gonna talk about first? I actually had time to make current events today because about halfway through the day I realized I didn't have any, but I went and found some.
Been busy today, so.
Listen, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna start off light.
Okay. So, Curio, are these going to be current events that I have actually heard of this time?
At least one of them. At
Okay.
least one of them. Yeah, because Justin definitely know about that. Yeah, you know about all these.
Because you like to, every time I'm on, you like to spring something. Oh, by the way, this happened 5 minutes ago, everyone. What's your opinion?
No time to process.
Because this is hot tea. We don't like that stale, cold iced tea. We like piping hot tea, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about, this is a little stale tea, so we'll start here. Actually, I don't want to start there. I do want to start there. Let's talk about Kim and Kanye.
Oh.
So, Kim and Kanye are getting a divorce. Now, if you follow anything current, if you follow black people and our opinions of the Kardashians, we felt like this was coming. We felt like Kardashians. We could say I'm not going to say we. I'm saying we. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying we as a community. This is the consensus. Feel like the Kardashians are infamous for, quote unquote, I'm just quoting, ruining black men.
Being succubi.
All men.
So, Brittany said all men. So I wanted, so I saw a post that was like, people will blame Kanye because of the antics. However, this is Kim's like third marriage. Now, some people said that felt like slut shaming. I didn't really feel like it was so much about her being promiscuous as much as her not really putting effort into maintaining her relationships. Like once they get bad, she out. That's how I read it. I didn't read it about anything sexual. I actually read it as just like they'll divorce real quick. But it could be slut shame. I'm not saying it's not. So I want to know your opinions about everything that we just said. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's fair to blame anyone? Do you feel like this is something we saw happening? Do we feel like this is a pattern? Or do we feel like this just wasn't a marriage that was going to work out from the beginning?
I mean, I don't think it was most folks get divorced. Like more, isn't it like half or over 52% people? Like so more people get divorced than not. So really, the odds were against them from the jump. Secondly, I always find like this idea that the Kardashians like ruin men and stuff to be so trash because the men they get with were already like Lamar Odom was already a crackhead when Khloe met him. He had done crack and was cracking. He was. I'm not trying to be shady. That's just true. He was using drugs and had used drugs before he met her. Same thing with Scott and Courtney. Scott was a drug head before he met Courtney.
They're like a magnet for crazy people.
Right. Kanye's had mental issues way before he met Kim. So if anything, they just pick really broken men to date and marry, and maybe that can be a problem, but I don't feel like it's their fault per se.
Right, a blaming thing. Okay. T, I see your face.
That is the
Go
most
ahead.
valid argument that I have heard about their whole relationship. That's the most valid argument I've heard about all of their relationships, like hands down.
Okay. Christine?
I mean, yeah, it's something similar to that, but also it's like two rich people with celebrity, status that are just having, a divorce. It like happens all the time.
Wow, these are not the responses I was prepared for. Y'all gonna hate me. Justin?
So
yes,
okay.
Here it is.
Okay. I have never been a fan of the Kardashians, period.
Yeah,
I think that it's a lot of clout chasing. I think all of it is just shenanigans and smoke and mirrors. So whenever I hear about anything about any of them, I'm just in one ear and out the other. I have more important things to worry about. But apparently this was something legitimate. And my first opinion when I heard it was, okay, well, everybody knows Kanye's a little cuckoo for the Cocoa Puffs. And then when you start talking about, well, it is Kim's third marriage, I'm like, it's kind of both of them, probably. You know what I'm saying? It can't be all one.
Right.
At the end of the day. And we don't know their real inside personal details anyway. We're never going to know. Even if something does leak or come out, that's all going to be semi-orchestrated. There's going to be a thread in that blanket of information that comes out that's going to be the truth. So I don't really put too much stock in anything other than just like they are getting divorced or maybe just separated or maybe going to get back together. I'm not really pressed. I'm not really bothered. It's not really something that I'm interested in per se. So.
Okay. Garrett.
I think when it comes to like Kim being like married for the third time, I kind of think of Kim as just like a man in the situation as the breadwinner of sorts. Like Kanye has been broke for a long time. He's been in debt. Or he was in debt for a long time. But it's I don't know. Like like Justin was saying, it's the smoke and mirrors kind of thing. There was a time when they were so heavily involved with the Trump campaign, I was like, Chris got some contract over here. So any like publicity for them is always going to be making them money to some extent. So they're going to be all right. And I mean, celebrities break up and get divorces all the time. I hope the kids will be okay. I mean,
4 of them.
Yeah, that's
okay. I'm going to go to Brittany first. And then Brittany and Jose, then Tristan.
Well, I didn't even know that Kim was married 2 other times, so I'm very behind on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on them. I just like Kanye.
Man in the Darkness?
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Hey, how's it going? I mean, I'm not really shocked. I mean, like I heard it happens within celebrities. They get married to the fame, and then once that dies out, they decide to pick another one. Both married. But if I had to pick a side, I'd put Kanye, just because of privilege and all that.
He said if you had to pick a side, he would go with Kanye. Tristan?
Yes,
wait, before you go. I feel like this is my issue. I don't like when you get with somebody who you know has a mental illness. Well, I don't know. I feel 2 ways about it. Like, I get why you're with someone who you know has a mental illness and you're trying to get them to take care of themselves and they won't take care of themselves and you have children. I understand you have to leave. I actually do get that. However, I feel like she publicly embarrassed him in a lot of ways. I feel like they publicly embarrassed each other. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do because I feel like I knew how she felt about him not taking his meds. I don't know neither one of them personally. How the fuck do I know about how she felt about him not taking his meds?
Do you? No, this is the thing. We know what the media said she said, but she didn't. And when we say the media, I don't even mean like reputable like media like the New York Times. I mean like the Daily Mail is not. But that's not what I want to talk about. I went down, Tristan. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay.
I feel like when it comes down to it, I feel like there's certain stuff that's sacred. And one thing that needs, like, if we're family, we're family. And that thing that you're dealing with, your mental illness, I'll protect that for you. Like, I might not stay with you, but I'm not going to drag you publicly about it. You know what I'm saying? So if she felt like she needed to leave for her kids, cool. But I feel like they were, and the reason I do think it was them that leaked it, because that's what their family does. Their family absolutely. Tristan, that's what their family does. Their family takes drama and capitalizes off of it. They do it like literally. Her and her sister are on TV fist fighting. On TV doing it in front of the cameras. You feel me? To me, there's certain lines like you're supposed to.
Not a fist fight. That was
whatever it was. They laid hands on each other on TV. Siblings. So
that was a sibling fight. That was
it don't matter.
Sibling fight.
Not on national TV, and not on national TV when you're the executive producer. Keep that shit off the air. Period. So to me, wait, Tristan, wait. So essentially, I feel like there's evidence to the fact that there's nothing sacred with them. And I feel like when it comes to somebody's mental health, that needs to be sacred. And I feel like that should have never been on. If that's why she left, that's why she left. Why do we know that? Okay.
Okay. So first and foremost, I think all that went out the window when Kanye did that Twitter rant and said that Kim wanted to abort her child and said a whole other laundry list of things. That was when I say a bridge too far. It was as bad as the Kardashians may be. The shit he said in that rant was
bullshit. He was trying to win the presidency.
But either way, that's what I wanted to touch on because it's slightly unrelated. But I feel like we don't give. I don't want to say props, but I think we don't think about it the right way in terms of Kanye's support for Donald Trump. So there's a dope interview he does with Charlamagne.
Okay, so I listened to Kanye's whole interview when he did that, though.
Did you watch the Charlamagne interview?
And it wasn't as bad as people are trying to make it out.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not as bad as people are trying to make it out.
He did this dope interview, and he talks about Barack Obama and the idea of black perfection. And essentially what he said was, I'm not Barack Obama. I'm flawed as fuck. I don't speak well. I put my foot in my mouth. I say wild shit. I do wild shit. And I'm not that. But Donald Trump, that's more related to me. That the way the media doesn't like him, the media doesn't like me. The way they treat him, that's how the media treats me. And then he even gets deeper and talks about how when Obama was president, he would invite all the rappers to the White House, but wouldn't invite Kanye, wouldn't speak to Kanye. Donald Trump would speak to Kanye. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with what Kanye did, but logically, from his perspective and his experience, his support for Donald Trump makes more logical sense than him supporting Barack Obama.
What I just heard you say was, because Trump stroked his ego, he was cool with being around Trump.
No, you literally.
That's not what he is.
That's because what it sounded like to me was,
it was an ego thing.
Oh, I absolutely think it was an ego thing. He literally was like, this other president wouldn't hang out with me, hang out with the other rappers, but this one wants to hang out with me, and that one doesn't. So there's a good reason. It's like, okay, even though he stroked your ego, you're ignoring all the horrible things this man did.
Exactly like Trump, though. Exactly.
That, and to me, that's not a good thing. That doesn't justify him. What it does to me is clarify, yes, you're that nigga, bro. Like, you're absolutely that nigga. Like, it doesn't make it any better.
But do you not think that there's something to the idea of Barack Obama and this idea that if you are black and you have to get to a position of power, you have to borderline be perfect? Obama, let's be very clear. On paper and in real life, the man is almost perfect. That's not Kanye. It's not. Kanye didn't go to an Ivy League school. Kanye doesn't have a educated wife.
How did we end up comparing? Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out. This is where we were talking about Kim and Kanye divorce, and now we talking about Kanye versus Obama.
I'm sorry.
If you're talking about black excellence, here's my issue. I feel like that argument is an argument that people like Kanye, who some people will say certain things, but people like Kanye, the CONs of the world, use to literally to create a bad narrative on people like Barack Obama. Since you can't find anything bad to say about him, you're going to say he's too perfect, and that's not fair.
He was too.
You're not, but that's basically what he's saying. He's basically pointing at Obama and accosting him for not being a dick, and saying since he's not a dick and I am a dick and this president is a dick, that makes him acceptable for me to be around. And not
really understand why Kanye West would feel that way though.
I understand why he would feel that way because one of them stroked the ego.
I don't even think it's that like about his ego. You have to think about it. He came from a presidency where George Bush was basically like, Kanye, you're the worst person alive, right? And then the next president completely ignores you, but you're doing positive things. Like that whole time Barack Obama was ignoring him, he was giving scholarships in Chicago. He was doing things in outreach and taking care of his city. He was making a difference, but all that stuff was overlooked because he made a lot of outbursts. Right?
Wait, here's my thing, T.
But some of that was due to mental illness.
Here's my thing, T. There are 8 billion people on this planet. Why does Obama owe him attention?
I don't think
that's my thing. That's why I say it's egotistical. Let me say why it's egotistical, because this human being thinks that because he is Kanye freaking West, the president needs to pay him attention. Since this president paid him attention in a way that he felt like was one way, this one ignored him, this one didn't. He's mad at the one that ignored him because he feels like he deserves that attention. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think first of all, he didn't,
and Obama didn't ignore him. He specifically talks about how when Obama ran for his first term, Obama went to Chicago with Kanye, did rallies, did events, etc. It wasn't until the Taylor Swift thing happened that Obama was like, he's an asshole, fuck him. And that was and to Kanye's credit, I understand feeling like somebody used you for your celebrity. And then the moment the media did, hold on, again, I understand him feeling like if you feeling like someone used you for your celebrity to get elected or help them get elected. But then the moment the media said something not nice about you, then you were persona non grata. And let's be very clear, Kim multiple times tried to get meetings at the White House to get Alice Johnson out of jail when Obama was president. This is facts. This is not a secret. And they would not meet with her, would not give her the time of day. Alice Johnson is at home right now with her children because Kim was able to go to the White House and talk to those people. I'm not saying that I don't like Trump.
Here's the thing that I'm not agreeing with. We're saying essentially that these presidents owe these people something. Trump, like President Barack Obama had probably a billion things to deal with. He didn't deal with that one because he chose not to deal with a man. We're saying that what you're saying is, wait. You're saying Obama abandoned him when the media turned on him. Why aren't we addressing that he did something? Why aren't we saying Obama abandoned you because you acted an ass in public? Why are we blaming the media instead of blaming Kanye for what Kanye did?
Well,
Brittany?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, I think, I don't know if he's exactly blaming. I think he's thinking of his mentality in it and the way he's thinking of it. He's a narcissist, just like Trump, where he's always the victim in everything. And he's going to need people to show him attention. And he's going to like people that show him attention.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. We didn't take that long on that one. Okay, so who is this man who runs Texas? What's his name? Let me look up this article.
Greg Abbott.
Governor Abbott.
Yes,
idiot.
That's the one I said. Oh, Justin. I was like, Justin gonna know about that one. Okay,
he's a moron.
Let's talk about it then. So he decided to make mask mandates everywhere in Texas. He said the only way we're going to get through this COVID thing is if everybody wears a mask and we stay inside.
Okay.
Right? And then he changed his mind. He basically said, well, you're in Texas, right?
Did he write a letter?
Right.
What did he say in the letter?
No, all I know is he basically opened Texas up and took the mask mandate away.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
So what he did was this is like earlier today or like yesterday. It was, and I live in Dallas, so the governor, lifted the mask mandate, and he lifted the restrictions to capacity for businesses, basically saying that you don't have to operate 50% capacity or reduced capacity because of spacing and things of that nature. That's why they were in place. And he also lifted the mask mandate. It's now a recommendation. So businesses can recommend that people wear their masks, but they can't require it. Or there's not there's not a state level mandate for the masks. So that has thrown a huge wrench into everything, because at the same time and someone correct me if I'm wrong, there is also, in that same breath, he tried to limit the locality's ability to have their own safety measures in place as well. Now, there's a few triggers that have been kind of laid out in the local health department areas. If there's a spike of cases above so much percent of the local population, that'll trigger certain safeguards to go back into effect, things of that nature. But he didn't lead with that. He led with a damn tweet that said, we're opening up to 100% capacity for all businesses. We're lifting the mask mandate. And then a huge backlash to that, both within the state and also nationally. And then it came back and he said, oh, just to clarify, this does not supersede the recommendations that we are working for from the health departments. It's like, it don't matter. It don't matter. Like you trying to come back and save your ass, but it doesn't matter because you led with a short and simple tweet. And that's what the short and simple minded people are going to take and run with. They're just going to be like, oh, I don't have to wear my mask now. Why can't we sit at that table and I don't have to be 6 feet apart from people.
You know who I blame?
In Texas.
Trump. I blame Trump. Let me tell you why I blame Trump. Trump had to make all these dumbass politicians feel like tweeting is their best option. And that's what got the mayor of Colorado City resigned. That's what got this man right now almost resigned, because they feel like, God damn, I'm about to tweet this shit, right? You better get a Michelle Obama in your life and grab that phone out your hand, because all you're doing is showing the world how not only ridiculous you are, but how careless you are when it comes to other people's feelings and thoughts.
I mean, I think he's moving. If his goal is to run for president in 2024, which I think that's Trump? What he's the governor of Texas. If his goal, so let me fast forward a little bit. So you guys know CPAC was last week or a few days ago.
What is CPAC?
So it's essentially like a convention for conservative Republicans. Like they have speakers.
Is this new?
No, CPAC's been around for a very long time.
Don't do that,
at all.
Don't do that.
It's a big deal in conservative circles. And so at CPAC, they did a poll, and it was to see who the CPAC attendees would vote for president.
Right, I saw Trump was like 54%.
They did one with Trump and one without Trump. When they did it without Trump, the person who was the furthest ahead by a lot was the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Right. Now, Ron DeSantis, Florida been open as fuck. Like he the one governor's like, you know what? We're not doing none of that shit. We're just gonna wing it and let it go. And so I think that Abbott's logic is, okay, the reason why people like Ron DeSantis is because he's been like, yo, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything. And so I think that the governor of Texas was like, yo, I'm going to do the same thing. I want the love that he gets, because he's not thinking about Texas. He's thinking about his future in the Republican Party.
And
you know what I just thought about?
There's a way in which I think that he's thinking about Texas. I mean, the reason why we took us so long to close America was about money. And Texas got hit by that flood, what was that, 2 years ago, a year before we shut down? Was it the summer right before we shut down? And then they just got hit by that winter storm, right? So they're like kind of fucked at the moment. I mean, they don't really have, they've got to rebuild the economy from zero. So, and the mandates do put a stop to pretty much not always to make money, but it stops how much money you can bring in. And to like get Texas back on its feet, I mean, it might take something drastic to get people back to work. I haven't been watching the numbers in Texas. The winter storm happened, 2 weeks ago? And did you see all those people in lines? Those people were wearing masks. So, I mean, the mandates, he's telling these people you don't have to wear masks anymore, but Texas look like, in the news anyways, they look like smart people. So I think, in a sense, he's trying to. I don't know. I've never been governor before, but money is an obstacle. Money and natural disasters are an obstacle.
Yeah, and definitely one thing that he wants to do is change the narrative right now, because ERCOT fucked over. I'm sorry. Can we? Sorry, your live stream. ERCOT. ERCOT screwed over everybody in the state. The mismanagement of our power grid from
is a mess.
The impact of that winter storm over the past couple of weeks. It's insanely bad because it's unregulated, and that's what the Republican. Yeah, that's what the Republican legislature wants. That's what the Republican leadership wants. They don't want any federal oversight, so their energy grid is segmented and it's not connected to the East Coast or the West Coast. There's three main power grids in the country: East Coast, West Coast, and Texas. And then that's it. That's it. That's why that's true. Yeah. And so that's why we couldn't buy and get more energy from the other grids, because we weren't even patched in, much less prices negotiated for surge or anything. That's why the follow-up to the actual issue were these surge prices. People have electric bills in the thousands and thousands of dollars because ERCOT, there's no regulation, there's no cap. It's just straight on charging the individuals, so individual businesses, individual households in this type of environment. And so he definitely wanted to change the narrative real quick and make a whole lot of people think about something else. And this is very obviously one of those things that he has within his power to do. and decided, let's go ahead and flip this switch, bright, shiny, new thing over here. Don't pay attention to how we just screwed over the entire state.
I think.
Wait. I want to give some of the people who are giving great facial expressions right now a chance to speak. Specifically, Christine.
I mean, I think one of the worrisome things about all of this is that I believe Texas is kind of in the bottom in terms of people that have received either their first or second dose of the vaccine, right? It's like, Georgia, I'm pretty sure, is actually at the way bottom, and then that maybe they're like fifth from the bottom or something. So, I mean, that's incredibly worrisome for, like, opening up the full population to, unmasked people.
Especially how big that state is.
Yeah, and that probably right now, hopefully, the people that have been vaccinated are, the 65, 75 plus older groups. But now you're going to have all these frontline workers, all these, people in restaurants, people, in grocery stores that are being exposed in even more detrimental ways than they were before. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I think also... go ahead, Brittany.
I just had a question, actually, probably for Justin. So because, Texas is so big, are people spread out across it? I mean, because in New York, everybody's very compacted in, like...
Yeah, so. Like the metropolitan areas, you're talking like Dallas, Fort Worth, you're talking Houston, San Antonio, like the major metropolitan areas are not as dense as some of like, your Los Angeles, your Chicago, your New York, your, things of that nature, even Atlanta, because it's pretty spacious out here. So, all things considered, when you have the majority of the state is pretty rural and is pretty suburban. It's just, like the beginning of the pandemic, all of the cases were surging in the cities because you just naturally come into contact with more people. More people go in the grocery store during a single day than anybody else, kind of thing. So it's pretty similar in, compared to most places.
I'm gonna talk about money one last time, but like, so talking about population wise, and also like when this pandemic started, we knew we couldn't count on big government, like, or mayors and cities, and like they started taking control because the president wasn't taking control, the governors weren't doing anything, and so metro places like San Antonio, Austin, those mayors and stuff are still like, okay, guys, you're or hopefully, I don't know, but I'm thinking about like in Georgia, they're like, okay, guys, we're gonna wear our masks. But what the governor I think has to think about is like getting the farms back to work. He can't have any obstacles in front of agriculture, getting cattle out, getting anything out, and I think going back to population, it's like the risk is still up because they're working like in close proximity to one another. But I don't know. You got to give some kind of leeway to help the situation out that they're in, I think. But that's me thinking about money. I do that.
Devil's advocate, because I think it's important to be the devil's advocate. We do have places that essentially are open and have been open for a while. Like Atlanta open. Like I don't know about any place else, but Atlanta wide open.
How are their hospitals doing? I haven't paid attention.
I haven't heard. Listen, I haven't heard anything, but I just know Atlanta is wide open. Has been wide open for a while. I'm not gonna lie, I've been to the club a few times.
Which club?
I can't breathe anybody's air right now. Oh my gosh, I cannot.
Wait. And do y'all want some tea? Okay. Please. So last time I went out in Atlanta was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Charles M. Blow, he's a commentator and stuff on CNN. Charles M. Blow was at the club. He was at the club 2 weekends in a row.
The gay club?
Well, it's like It's this place called 10th and Piedmont. It's not like a club. It's like a bar.
The gay club.
It's a gay club.
Right. I mean, you had to give the whole well, they were established in 1975. I mean, I didn't know. Just yes or no.
It wasn't like a.
I wasn't asking. Is this a gay establishment? I guess I should say that.
Oh yeah, it's a gay black spot.
Okay.
But he was all up in there with I had a mask on when I was there. He didn't have.
But you were still there, Tristan.
Also, if y'all can, I just want to show y'all.
I love Rakia for the timing that me and you both hit him with that.
In a pandemonium.
Tristan, you were at the club in a pancoco.
First of all, if anybody's seen my Insta story or my Facebook stories, you know I was out here. I've been out here.
I know,
like November.
I do want to talk about. I do want to touch on one more thing in these last 15 minutes of the first hour. So Kelly Loeffler done lost our basketball team.
Hate to see it.
Justin, you petty. And now, yes, keep that up for a minute too, Rakia. And now, apparently a queer black woman owns the team in her place. Mm-hmm. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about that?
All the teams should be owned by gay black women, to be honest.
Do we feel like all the teams?
WNBA,
yeah.
Do we still feel like that?
Yes.
I mean, partially.
Okay. All of them, though, huh?
If most of the women who play are queer women of color, then
women of color is not what Garrett just said, though.
I said, queer women of color?
No, you said black.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what. I don't know their racial.
Christine, say something, Christine. Nope, I ain't saying that. Like, I'm just saying, like, she said, nope, not me. I get what you're saying. I just feel like, I feel like it needs to be people who at least relate to the teams. I do agree with that. Like, because Kelly Loeffler was so far gone. Like,
at least on the board, black queer women need to be on every board.
Yeah.
And need present for sure. For sure, absolutely. Because, not to stereotype, but, there are a lot of black queer women of color, at least, in the sport. So I definitely understand the representation. I just think, I didn't read does anyone know how she lost? I see you, T. Does anyone know how she lost the team?
Her team was, from what I understand, and like if I could be wrong, so I don't want anyone to be like, take what I'm saying as gospel. I know when she was running, her team wasn't here for her. Because I think if you're not from Georgia, you have to realize that Kelly Loeffler made she was a Republican, but she was more like a Mitt Romney kind of Republican, if that makes sense. Like, she wasn't out here wild and being deep into Trumpism. She made a conscious choice when she ran for Senate to change her image and to go head first into Trumpism. And I think that's where the problem came in. Because I'm sorry, you couldn't, her doing the Trump, that you can't wheel and deal and be in Atlanta and do what she was doing. Like, you can't, you can't. Like, it ain't gonna work for you. And so I think once she kind of did her change up and everything, her team, they weren't gonna play. It was we gonna sell the team or ain't nobody gonna play for us. And what you gonna do if all the women, and the thing is, I think the leg up that the women have in the WNBA is they ain't making the money that the NBA player, the male players are. I feel like when you're making millions and millions of dollars, it's a lot more difficult.
You don't want to mess up that bag.
Right. You ain't trying to fumble that bag, but you ain't really, I'm already pissed because you ain't paying me what I deserve anyway. But on this raggedy ass team, it's not raggedy, I'm just being facetious. But you not paying me what I deserve, and I got to be owned by this woman right here who don't even respect me. Nah, dog, that ain't gonna fly.
T. Justin, and then Justin. You're muted, babe.
I'm just here for the comments because
I do like them.
We can hear you. Just for the comments.
I'm just here for the comments because I don't live in Atlanta. And I don't keep up with WNBA.
But you know who Kelly Loeffler
doesn't even
is.
have a team, and so that's where I live. And so I have no idea who that woman is.
We used to have season tickets.
To To the dream?
Yeah, to the dream. It's a good time. It's a good time. Because it's not too crowded.
Sure there's probably fun. I just...
Justin?
Yeah, so she's she has very little backbone. Quite honestly. She's a Republican, and she is she's part owner of the Atlanta Dream, if our listeners aren't familiar, which is, a WNBA team. So she's part owner. But when the BLM movement started this summer or last summer, she was critical of the movement, and that's what triggered and that's what set off all of this. And not only just from her team, but like we said, like just Atlanta natives, Georgia residents, like, what's up, Kelly? Like, you have some homework to do, sounds like, first of all. And so I will say that she has this much backbone, because when it finally came time to, she lost her re-election bid, right? Okay. But before she left office, when it finally came time for her to cast her vote in the second impeachment trial of he who shall not be named, she did vote to impeach.
She did?
She did vote to impeach.
What?
But,
no, she didn't.
Did she not?
No.
What she voted for?
She voted to proceed, or she didn't object, basically.
She didn't. And I think what you're talking about is when they were the day they stormed the Capitol, and they
she was planning on objecting.
Certify the election.
Yes, right.
She voted to certify the election.
Yeah,
she
that's
didn't
what
go.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
She didn't go against it because she knew damn well if she came down here, there was.
Because that was her last stand.
Yeah,
that was her last chance to.
That's true. I stand corrected.
Turning.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, but I mean that was after she had already lost her election. She saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, she was just trying to save whatever face she could at that point, and that's why I say, like, she has about one knuckle worth of backbone for that, and beyond, I'm like, she is the furthest thing from a true representative of Georgia.
I want to say something real quick. I just want everybody here in the world to prepare for what's about to happen. These Republicans are going to cheat in this next election.
It's already happening.
Let me tell you how you know they're going to do it. Because every time the Republicans do some stuff like that, I'm sorry to any Republicans out there. I'm talking about not individuals. I'm talking about the party. Every time the Republicans do something like that, they proceed by complaining about it being done. Point in case, when Obama tried to put somebody on the Supreme Court in an election, they complained about it being done and then did it. They just made all this ruckus about us cheating. They're going to cheat. They don't ever generally care neither. They don't care. They're going to cheat and look at you and be like, yeah, we did it because we could. Bye.
The only people that have been caught for voter fraud have been for Trump.
So all I'm saying is, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, bruh. Because when you said something about DeSantis, I said, they're really getting ready to cheat. Whether it's him or Trump, they're really getting ready to cheat. Whatever it is, because they've made up in their mind, whether they have made up in their mind or not, that Democrats cheated. I think it seems like a gearing up to justify this kind of energy that they're going to bring this next election. Because I was on politically
Republicans aren't Trump.
And another way. Remember when he was like? Remember that night, the first night I was on there, and he was just like. Basically, he was like, that's what libtards have been saying. He didn't say libtards, but liberals have been saying for the last... That's what liberals have been saying for the last 4 years. And I was like, but I just met you. I ain't saying none of that. And the energy was, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as a whole, conservatives are feeling like that. They feeling like anybody can get it if they're a liberal, and it doesn't matter. And I'm taking the gloves off because y'all hated Trump for 4 years. I hated Trump for 4 years, but he also did... I didn't hate Trump. I don't know him. But
for things he did though, they wanted it more like a revenge thing because he's again like with Kanye, he's like the victim. He can't do anything wrong. So when we go at him for something he did, it's not because he did something. It's we are the problem for going at him. And so now they need to get us back for us calling him out for his shit.
At the end of the day, and so I just wanted to say that because I just want us to prepare mentally for. I think, I'm not say that. It's getting late. I just think we need to prepare ourselves mentally for what that energy is because I will say, like, in general, I think liberals are kind of like, we're not gonna mess with you, so you mess with us. And sometimes that is why we're always playing catch up.
Pushovers.
Because it's not that we're pushovers, it's just that we wait till the smoke is brought, and they're always bringing the smoke. What's worse, they bring the smoke and they act like they didn't bring it. We are always just like, well, you know, peace and love. If you come over here, we ready. But by the time we came over, they done planned, plotted, schemed, put in maneuvers,
it's
surrounded.
It's going to be voter suppression is where they're going with
they're
this.
Already starting to do it.
No, but it's going to be on a different level. Like because they saw how much the mail-in was hurt them.
They're trying to get rid of mail-in voting in Georgia right now.
But do you know what Democrats have up on Republicans? I don't care what anyone says. Democrats have grassroots organizing down to a science. Like,
but that's still a last-ditch effort.
Like I think that think about it like this. For me, the last election, Republicans were trying to cheat, to the point where you had some places where they had one drop box for absentee ballots for
in Texas,
100,000 people.
It would take 4 hours round trip to get to it.
But this is all before, Tristan, this is all before we had the audacity. Let me tell you where we messed up. This is all before we had the audacity to allow a black Asian woman to sit in the goddamn White House. We had the audacity to let that happen, and they are never going to let us live that down. Period. Let's be true. And I'm not saying that's cool, but that's the energy that a lot of them have. They might not admit that that is the issue that they have, but that's the issue that they have. Like, not only did we win, we not only won the election, we then won the Senate. Then we got rid of, two pretty much idealistic conservative people and replace them with a black reverend and a Jewish man.
That's what's freaking them out. Georgia, getting all these blue, that's freaking them out.
We basically told, and then after this Texas stuff happened, who was saving Texas when old Stomach Boy went to Mexico? It was Ocasio-Cortez. She don't even live there.
Are you talking? You said, oh my God. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is who you're talking about, Duryea. And
the demographics are not on the demographics aren't on the side of Republicans. Democrats are growing their party. The Republican Party
younger people.
Right. The Republican Party is not growing. It is shrinking. And you can keep trying to
I don't think it's shrinking. I think it's more.
It is.
They're dying off.
Thank you, Christine. Christine agrees with me, so I win. I win. Whenever Christine agrees with me, I win.
The change of demographics between Trump's first election and between when he ran the second time. He did have more votes from black men. He did have more votes from the Latino population.
But it's not weird because black men like Trump.
Okay,
I think there's a big religious segment though that was supportive of him.
Let's be clear. Go ahead.
What was Christine saying?
Well, no, please.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that everything that the Republicans are doing right now won't even matter if the Democrats aren't going to stick to the promises that got them elected in the first place. So when you have someone, getting, like you have in Georgia, electing, the Reverend and this Jewish senator based on these things like a $2,000 check and based on a $15 minimum wage, and then you're putting this in front of Congress and you're putting it in front of Senate, and they're saying, actually, we don't really think we can do it, even though we can do it, but we're not going to do it. It's,
I think that, and that's a big deal because I'm going to say this. Bernie Sanders is the only person still talking about $15 minimum wage, and I stand by Bernie. I don't know if Bernie can, and I'm not going to say that. I don't know if Bernie is everybody's cup of tea, but I stand Bernie, period. Because at the end of the day, what Bernie don't do, he don't play that fuck shit, bro. He gonna come to your inauguration in his motherfucking loafers, okay, with his manila folder on the way to finish these errands. He gonna ask about this $15 minimum wage, and he's not backing down. Well, the moderate said, who said something about moderates? I said $15. That don't sound like moderate. That sound like $15. I feel like I get what's his name? What's the man's name? I get what Biden wants to do with unifying the party. However, you didn't run on unifying the party.
He did, actually.
He did. He really
ran on it.
Oh yeah, he ran on unifying.
I don't feel like he
one
ran
of
on
his
it.
strengths.
I feel like that's one thing he spoke on. I don't think that was what he staked his election on.
I'll say
also
he
didn't stake his election on a $15 minimum wage or completely getting rid of, like, we're making things up that didn't happen. Biden never promised a $15 minimum wage. He never promised.
He didn't. We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about the Senate. Wait, we're talking about first of all, when we talk about these other things, minimum wage, legalization of marijuana, these are all things that the Senate told us or led us to believe would happen if they had control, if the Democrats had control of the Senate.
Also, Kamala
AOC didn't say nothing about.
Say she wanted a $15 minimum wage.
Kamala said that. Once again, but AOC didn't say that to me. All I heard, honestly,
has a big
the last time I've heard AOC say anything that I felt like was relevant was when she was talking about, and I really don't like. I actually felt some type of way when everybody was laming her out for explaining her side of how she felt that day, because, like, when
her a liar and stuff.
Well, it's like. Have you ever thought you were gonna die?
Yeah, no, and she had a legitimate fear because she is a target on the right. So if they somehow get to her, she should be scared.
Period.
So it doesn't matter.
And let's be clear, there were bombs all around DC.
And there's tunnels too.
All around DC. So when you find out, like, I live about 50 minutes away from DC, and I told my mom not to leave the house.
Yeah, no, she absolutely.
And my mom don't got no, like, I'm saying, so to me, I'm like, so you're telling me that I had no legitimate fear to tell my black mother to stay inside the day that they tried to take over the government? You're out of your mind. Of course she had a reason to be afraid. So I feel like at the end of the day, I didn't like that people responded to her that way. But I feel like this, the Democratic Party, who I'm going to regret saying this, could take a few cues from the Republican Party when it comes to
fight like a Republican.
When it comes to fight like a Republican, sometimes, like sometimes you have to realize, like, I'm not saying dirty, but
hardball.
Stand firm sometimes.
Fight for the people. Fight
stand
for the
firm.
people. Fight for what they want.
Stand firm sometimes. Like, y'all know what we, and even deeper than that, Christine, fight for what we need. We're in the middle of a pan cocoa still, and it's folks still not being able to take care of their families, and it's folks who just went through this natural disaster, that, and y'all talking about, well, even though I'm still getting paid, let's give these people $600. No, y'all are getting paid. Y'all literally gonna tax us probably for this money anyway. Like, y'all are gonna get half of this money back at the end of the day. So it's just like, do that as y'all have this. Y'all have two branches in your control. Like, all y'all have to do is get along. Please just get along.
I don't see that happening.
And then they want to take. I'm sorry. But we have to, Brittany, and then we're going to go to a commercial break and then go to the main topic for the night.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, we could, it's 50-50 right now. We have 2 seats that can come up in 2022, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. We get that, and we can get rid of the filibuster. We can do all these freaking things that we want to do. Because right now, with Manchin, I want him to save that seat. No. I want him to hold on to that seat. Whatever he's got to do to hold on to that seat. Because we lose that seat, we're never getting it back. That's a state that they have by 30 points. So whatever he's got to do, I'm good with. But
fight that fight. Okay, so we're gonna move into our main topic, which is defunding the police. But before we do, I want you to take a look at a few ads.
Hey guys, I'm Jessica Myers of It's Jessica Myers. One of the biggest things that we were able to do in 2020 is purchase a hotel in the midst of a pandemic. How did we do it? We were able to seize the moment of a really great deal. But it came from us having the knowledge and the know-how of how to identify a deal and what to do with it. Who are the key players on the team? Who is it that you need to have in your corner? And that's why I created a simple course, Wholesaler to Hotel Owner. Teaches you tricks of the trade, understanding the lingo of how to even get involved in real estate and investing. Wholesaling is a way to get into real estate without having to risk any of your own capital. We teach you how here from Wholesaler to Hotel Owner. Why name the course Wholesaler to Hotel Owner? It's just about wholesaling, right? I want you to understand what's possible. I want you to see the future of where you can grow if you put in the work, if you take the time, get the knowledge, understand what to do with an opportunity when you come across, and how to really put all of the elements together to get to success. That's what we teach here at It's Jessica Myers, how you can build your 7-figure real estate portfolio to get you free from corporate dependence. Sign up today for more of our courses at itsjessicamyers.com.
Hey everybody, my name's Chris.
I'm Duryea.
I'm Ricky Z.
Justin.
And Julian.
Have you heard about Anchor.fm? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. First off, it's free.
Oh, I love free, especially when we're talking creation tools that allow you to record and edit right from your phone and computer.
And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you. So as soon as you're finished recording, you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms.
And you can make money off of your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's basically a one-stop shop for everything you need. So head on over to Anchor.fm and download the mobile app now. And make sure you come back and geek out with us. Those were ads from Geeking Out, which is actually directly after this at 10 o'clock. We're going to be talking about Birds of Prey, the movie. Mo on? Mo is on tonight, actually. Yeah, this is going to be her first appearance on the show. And, you know, she wanted to talk about WandaVision, but we were doing it earlier in the day. The next time we talk about WandaVision, it will be after the show's over. So we'll just dig into it. Okay. The other ad was for itsjessicamyers.com, who also did a real estate investment seminar earlier today. It was dope. So you can go check that out. Or you can go to itsjessicamyers.com and find out about her real estate investment course from wholesaler to hotel owner, which is really awesome. All right. Defunding the police. The reason I want to talk about defunding the police is because this came up in a previous conversation we had where we discussed Democrats and our inability to strategize well and how we basically make bad decisions and how we, what's the word that they use?
Messaging.
Our messaging,
complex issues on bumper stickers.
Our messaging, right. So it's like, why would we call it defunding the police when that's not what it is, knowing that that's going to do possible damage to the whole plight. There's a lot of people, granted, I don't think these people are the type that'll listen anyway, that'll immediately hear that and go, right. So me personally, I don't believe in defunding in the sense of defunding. I believe mostly in demilitarization. I do believe in reallocating funds. Is that a word? Please tell me I made a word. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the word.
I do believe in reallocating funds for different things. One thing I would love for the police force to reallocate funds toward is longer training periods, more inclusive training periods that deal with, not saying that they should be mental health care people, but since they're so often faced with situations of mental health care, I think some police can see a mental health situation and know this is a mental health situation. I need to call a mental health professional. And I think some don't have that. They don't have that wherewithal or that training, so they don't handle it that way. And I feel like that's something that needs to happen. So I think their training should be more well-rounded and not just be about enforcement. It should be about conflict resolution. But having said that, this is a divisive topic because some people feel like, oh no, the funds that are being spent towards this should go toward that, like education. How come we can defund education all the time and nobody cares? But when we talk about
the military, that's what I would like.
So I wanted to open up the floor and I want to talk about it. Does anyone have a pressing need to go first?
I don't know.
Tristan.
Maybe.
I don't even want to go first. I was just sitting here.
Wait. Jose wants to go first. Listen, Jose, you're a little choppy, Jose. So we're gonna try to get what you're saying. So if we don't understand it, type it in the private chat so we can at least read it out loud. Go ahead, try.
Okay, definitely. No, so at first, every time I hear defund the police, I've always thought my initially meant the police. We're gonna eradicate it. It's just gonna be we're gonna police ourselves up. And so I was definitely triggered by that. But now that I think I understand it. I think it's going along the same lines as what you were just saying. Reallocating the funds, make sure they have the training. Because for one thing, I'm definitely okay with training the police because I'm really exhausted to hear about stories where they murder somebody and they get away with it, or just my personal experiences that I had with police growing up. It's never been wonderful. So it'd be kind of cool to see where that actually goes. I'm not 100% sure what it means or what they're going to do with it, but I really do hope that it's reallocating those funds to provide the training that they need or to open up another department to handle mental health issues in such of those cases.
I got most of that. It's basically he's saying that he at first didn't realize what it was. Now that he gets a little research, he understands that it means more than just like defunding the police and that it means more about like reallocating funds. And that he hopes that's what it actually is geared toward. And when I also say reallocating funds, I don't think that the money should be taken away from the individual people making money. I'm talking about like, you don't need a tank when we have the biggest military in the world.
You can't use
like,
the military.
What is your tank for?
At home, though.
Huh?
You can't use the military at home.
So my thing is this. You're right. You can't use the military domestically, right? When I say that, I mean the technically now, because let's not have a flashback to last year, but technically the military, you're saying like against a domestic
National Guard you could use at home.
But here's the issue. Who are the police using the tank against? Who? Right. Like even I was gonna say some racist.
Think about how armed we are in this country, though.
But that's like on some. Okay, we got some machine guns and some assault rifles. You got a tank.
Yeah.
Like there's other defense than a tank. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I just feel like who do you need the tank against?
Yeah.
But Tristan, you said you didn't want to say nothing, but it seems now that you want to say something.
He was raising no.
Yeah.
Who want to say something? Just say something.
I said, I had a couple things.
T.
So
okay, I'm sorry, Brittany and then T.
So wait, with the tank, I'm wondering if the tank is more of a defense for them, so that they can't happen to them. I'm not entirely sure what the tank is for, to be honest. But I've never heard of a problem where you take money from them to make it better. I feel like you invest more to make something better. But I think that our police definitely needs like a lot of freaking work for sure. But I don't know about this. Like, we try to fit these complex issues onto a bumper sticker, and it might work for Republicans, but it doesn't work for us. And I did hear people saying,
I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding, and I don't understand.
I did hear people saying to abolish the police. So I mean, there are like people that are saying these kind of things that people are hearing.
Can we talk about that?
Oh, but real quick, because I want.
Wait. Actually, no. T. Not me too. I just cut myself off because I was gonna say something, but T had her hand up. Yep, there it is.
It's just muted.
Oh.
You're muted. You're muted.
I can't hear you, T.
She's still going.
Yeah,
First and foremost, let's not defund the military. Let's not do that. Let's not defund the
You said the military or the police?
I want to reduce that military a lot. You can cut it in
military
half.
and the police. Let's not defund either one of those. Because somebody, no ma'am. And let me tell you why. Because the military total force has already been reduced, and you have people doing multiple jobs where they can't focus on one thing. So as a person who works for the military and for the DOD, if you do that, then you leave us vulnerable to worse things that are out there. There are worse things out there than President Donald Trump Twitter fingers. I guarantee you this. And so what you don't want to do is deteriorate, and you don't want to cut it any further than it already is. We're in these places for a reason. Okay?
Yeah, but
it might seem like, we're just trying to control everything, but even more so, we're trying to keep us safe.
Yeah,
so
but think about all the crazy things that we're buying and stuff too that we don't.
Our military anymore.
Let's go to Brittany and then Justin.
All the these like planes and all this crazy stuff we're buying.
Even the stuff that we're buying.
There's a lag, by the way,
ma'am. Even those things are not new. Oh yeah. So even those things are not new. You're talking about, we're buying all of these things. We're upgrading what we already have. So that's something to keep in context. Like, we're not just going out and saying, hey, commission us a brand new jet. Yeah, no, those things cost millions of dollars. But what we are doing is saying, hey, we have these jets. What can you add to them to make them better? So we're not really just going out there willy-nilly saying, we're going to spend $38 million on another F-16. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're upgrading what we already have. Because
the Pentagon also.
Anyways,
Yeah, the Pentagon also spending like $1 million on lobsters and shit.
But you don't think there's any way to?
Wait. So because of the lag, there's a lot of. But I said so. Let's go to Justin real quick because Justin's trying to say something, and then go to Garrett.
So I get both of your points, but I think it's actually interesting to marry them together because we are spread thin throughout the globe with our military presence. And we don't need to be everybody's police officer. We don't need to be the world's 911. And that's what we've become, unfortunately. In a lot of these strategic locations where it is a legitimate concern that we need to have a say in what's going on in some of these regions, albeit some of them we destabilized ourselves. But that being said, we have to walk that very fine line of domestically taking care of things here so that we're not shortcutting and trying to just fund all of our law enforcement services and branches and so forth as a substitute for actually funding mental health services, emergency crisis services, social safety net programs, public schools and education, like those type of, both urgent and also preventative measures that have been proven, here and abroad to be a lot more effective and beneficial rather than incarceration and the justice system. And I think that if we, again, as Democrats, if we can play that in concert with the other world powers, now that we're back on the world stage with some legitimacy, we can start to pull back. We can start to have some of those negotiations where we don't have to have 5 and 6 and 7 platoons and battalions in this one location. We can have 1 or 2 alongside, UK, France, Spain, like our other allies overseas in different parts of the world, so that we're not
otherwise.
Exactly. Really get back in with the UN, NATO, every international organization, and even the charity, the non-for-profit NGOs that do a lot of that, peacekeeping work that we just, have blown out of the water with our terrible last 4 years, our terrible skills at working alongside and in tandem with other countries. I think it's going to be a lot of repair work. Thankfully, Biden has a lot of experience internationally, being, as experienced as he was under Obama, doing a lot of that VP work internationally, and then also domestically. He has a really strong presence there. So I think we're headed in that right direction as far as that's concerned. But I think it's interesting to look at it both defunding the police domestically and kind of what that means in a nutshell versus actually what the detailed roots of that mean, and then defunding the world police of the United States. Okay, let's have somebody else. Let's get some other programs in here so we don't have to always have the military stressed and stretched so thin. You know what I mean?
Garrett, and then Tristan.
Yeah, my question was for T. The question is, it's like a long question. The question is there any way to reallocate those funds like we think about reallocating funds for the police? But I also wanted to just give a small anecdote from my friend who lives in Chicago, and just my friend Jessica G. Smith, she lives in Chicago. Okay. And I was talking to her, and they were just finding out there that 60% of the emergency aid funds for COVID had gone straight to the police. 60% went to payroll for the police department. And it's just yes, I won't go into that, but it's a lot of money that could be going to people who don't have money. And I completely understand that the world is a scary place. But if we don't try and adjust it now when we are like moving into the future. When will we ever have the time to adjust it? And I also preface that like I'm a military brat, so I grew up going on post like every day, or every other day with my mom and my dad.
ex-husband was a Marine of 20 years.
So, but I don't know nothing beyond that. Like, I don't know the real life struggles of it. I just know, like, my family members are involved with it. But, yeah, my question was for T. Is it possible, do you think?
All things are possible today. But, I mean, how they allocate the money, whatever those cases might be, you have to think this. I'm not saying it was right that in Chicago they allocated the money to the police, 60% of it to the police department. However, the police department was never allowed to stop working. Just like nurses were never allowed to stop working. All the frontline people that we depend on day in, day out were never allowed to stop working. They went home to their families every single day with the exposure of possibly giving their newborn baby that their wife just had COVID or whatever. So I'm not justifying it. However, for your frontline worker people like nurses, absolutely pay them more right now because they're putting their families at risk day in, day out to take care of other people. Same with police officers. Again, statistically speaking, we always focus on like, oh, they're killing blah, 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 or we should focus more on mental health. But as a police officer, the same as if you're a deployed military member, you only have a split second to make a decision whether you perceive somebody as a threat, whether they are or they aren't. And that split second can be the difference between your life and their life. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to do, I'm all for training for mental health. However, that's also a sticky subject because people will use mental health. There was just a not sheriff, state patrol officer that was killed here in New Mexico on the highway, and he got a call that some people were coming in, that somebody was coming in. He pulled the guy over. The guy ended up killing him just like that. Rolled the window down, officer dead. He didn't get to say anything. He didn't get to do anything. His wife just had a baby. Okay? So it's situations that are like that, where he's leaving behind 3 kids and one of them being a new child that will never get to know their dad, with the split-second decision to determine, oh, is this a mental health issue? Or, oh, is this person really a bad guy?
Was he shot?
I mean, yeah, you can do all the training in the world for those things. And I guarantee he was. Yeah. And he was shot. But I guarantee you, those things are not what's at the forefront of your mind if you're in real life situations where your life is between you or somebody else. So, I mean, again, also not saying it was right in Chicago that the money went there, but frontline, they're doing something, they're providing something and a safety, whether we see it as one or not, that we aren't ourselves willing to provide.
I also think just 2 things, that a lot of our policing issues we have in this country is a gun problem that we have in this country. And if we got, I mean, I don't know how you get that under control at this point because there's more guns than people, but I really think that stems from a lot of our problems. But I also think that maybe if there was more transparency in how our funds were being spent in the military and in our police, maybe that might put people's minds at ease because we don't.
But can't you look up that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I mean,
can't you look up like?
Yeah, the police budget is out. The police budget is out, but people just aren't paying attention to it or until this summer or last summer.
But then I think, kind of going back to something that Brittany said a while ago, I think so. There's 2 schools of thought around defunding the police. So there is a abolition movement, like there are people who genuinely believe we should abolish the police, and I want to explain because that sounds crazy, but the idea is that the institution of policing and criminal justice is so rotten that you have no choice but to abolish it and start over. Right. That is the logic by some people. I'm not saying I agree or disagree.
I'm just sound saying, like you said you agree, but everybody else heard that, right?
Okay. That's what it is, and I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel one way or the other because modern day policing comes from slave catching. So if we want to start over, that's fine. Like legitimately, the first time
what does starting over look like feasibly?
Well, that was my next thing. So I think that thing that I always say is I think first we should pay police officers more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should. I think we should pay police officers more money, and then I think we should allocate our resources better. I'm sorry, I don't.
Here's my issue with that. Here's my issue with that.
Can I finish? Let me finish real quick.
This is our relationship, y'all.
Right, okay.
It's our entire relationship.
So, for example, I don't like that my tax dollars are spent for motorcycle cops to give out parking tickets and to give out speeding tickets for going over 5 miles an hour. I don't like that my money is spent arresting people for smoking pot and doing drugs. That's a lot of what we spend money on when it comes to policing. Right. It's not like we're not spending the money on police finding murderers and combating gang violence.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear what the money is.
Let's be clear. I want to say something. Oh, okay, my bad.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was reading this story the other day about the 6th transgender woman who was killed this year, and the response that they found her in her apartment, and it was like, "Oh, we found her. She was found." So my point is, but you really have motherfuckers out here who are like, if you don't make your quota, motherfucker, then you find. But it's like, but who is out there going, hey, can you find the dude who did that? Please, can you find him? So my point is,
well, it's also, sorry, I'll let you finish.
The point, I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. So the point I'm just trying to make is that, like, I don't even know where I'm at no more.
Okay, so to that I'll say there's a very interesting article that I read, and I keep it bookmarked. It's from the Brookings Institute, and it's by Rashawn Ray. And the name of the article is called "What Does Defund the Police Mean, and Does It Have Merit?" And he actually breaks it down into the public connotation of what does that trigger? What are those words going to invoke? And then it breaks it down into the actual movement of what people are calling for, the abolish concept, the lack of homicidal resolution and open cases, and even into the severe backlog of rape kits that are being just sitting on shelves. How about we use some of that money, to get expedited all of those rape kits and get some more detectives on cases and get some more feet on the ground and those types of
Olivia Benson, Justin. I mean, hello? Can we do that though?
Right. Like those types of violent crimes are the most scary thing when it comes to people talking about defunding the police. Well, who's going to protect me? They're not doing too good of it right now, quite honestly.
Okay.
And if you want to make some real progress, then let's look at that. What is our traffic enforcement benchmarks and goals? How about we shift our focus over to true violent crime casework, and that's just one of the concepts. And then you go into
don't keep your cities running.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Yes, because in order for these violent crimes, in order for these violent crimes, Lord, in order for these violent crimes to generate revenue, they have to be solved. It's much easier to prove this dude had a fifth in his glove compartment. This dude had a shot. Granted, I'm not really a fan of drunk drivers, but these are much easier to prove, prosecute, or make somebody plead out to than...
You don't even have to prosecute them. You just get them to plead out, or you get them to go to jail and not be able to pay their bail, and then they're stuck in jail. And,
All of that.
Because
now, granted...
Well, I was going to say, also, I think with crime and poverty are so tied together. And so I feel like once we address the issues that come from poverty, then there becomes less of a need to have such a overwhelming police force.
Right.
Like if you took some of that money and spent it in community centers or programs for kids or diversion programs, whatever the case may be, that to me is more helpful than putting another beat cop in a car and having him driving around waiting for some shit to pop off.
But here's my thing, though.
Like you're talking about mental health, issues and crises in the police force. But imagine if you had those types of resources available to the community, even just that, you know,
Free.
even without having triggered a cop call, someone who knows that they're having issues, a family member or a loved one is having issues, and we don't have insurance to cover it, that would be, again, why we need universal health care.
Because when it's I will say you this, when it's court mandated, guess what it is? Free.
Oh,
right.
What to this comment down here? I love this. So
wait. Before we answer that, I want to say something. Somebody said earlier that they think police should get paid more. I personally feel like when it comes to government funds being reallocated to pay anyone more, the police aren't the first on the list. The people who need to be paid
right now.
This is my thing. The people who need to be paid the most first are teachers.
Yeah, it's not an either or though. It's not an either or.
It is either. What's sad, Brittany? I get what that's the idealistic viewpoint of it, but actually it is either or, because the problem is we've decided that is an issue that's worth paying them more. We haven't even made that decision with teachers yet. But when you realize teachers are in more danger than policemen because they're not even really allowed to be armed half the time. Not only that, they have to sometimes fight these children who are basically fucking on steroids now. Like, these kids are large. You know what I'm saying? They are literally putting their lives at risk. And you could have the few good, you can have the T's and the Garretts in class, or you get a me or a Tristan. You know what I'm saying? And you never know. No, I'm saying, like, you could get like chill people, or you can get hype people. You don't know who you're gonna get in these classrooms. You have every day, it could be a Parkland situation. You have every day, a lot of these teachers spend more time with these children than their own parents. Not in a negative way to the parents, just in the amount of hours that they're in school. And we're talking about a police might not even encounter nothing but five people in a week. If they just want to see.
Depends on where you are, though.
But I'm saying a police could just he could collect that paycheck, make his little quotas, and be done. A teacher has to be involved. And my point is, we have to make that cultural decision that job deserves what it deserves. And because we're never talking about, that's never a conversation. Defund the police is a tagline. Where's the tagline? Increase funds for teachers. That should be really
sexy.
Can it maybe
whatever? I'm not good at taglines, but you get the point.
I agree. We should pay teachers more. I think the reason why you don't hear that more in terms of the political dialogue and conversation is because, frankly, education is not a sexy subject for anybody. Like, you don't care. There are very few politicians that run on, I'm going to improve the education system. But
the truth is, if you really ask me, if you start at the education system with the children, I feel like you're literally fixing a lot of those problems at the root. We don't think that we're fixing them at the root. We feel like fix the police, but by the time you already are police, I'm not saying don't fix those things, but we've already got preconceived notions, habits, thoughts. These are still children, but a lot of these teachers are getting to a point to where they're exhausted, they're worn out, they're not putting forth the effort that and they're not getting paid well.
So, like, I mean, maybe especially in some of the communities that are like really overworked, you know, you have such the teacher to student ratio isn't great, so they're even worked even harder. Maybe, and same thing with police, and it usually in lower income areas that are dealing with this, and maybe in those areas that are struggling the most, you pay them a lot freaking more. Get more people on the ground, and teachers as well as police, and let them like not work as so hard.
Yeah, that actually is a thing. There's several programs. I forget exactly what they're called, but they are targeted for. They're like grants or loan forgiveness for teachers who go into lower performing school systems, and they have to be there for X amount of years to qualify for that grant. That actually kind of made the news a couple of years ago when some of that got incorrect. Betsy DeVos is an idiot. Incorrectly started billing them instead of forgiving their debts and stuff. So that's already a thing. It definitely can be expanded a lot more. But I think that because education isn't as attractive or as sexy tagline on anybody's political agenda, is because it's not an instant gratification quick fix. You can hire more police officers. You can see them on the street. You can give them cars and drive around. And that's what makes people immediately think, oh, great, look at all this stuff that we have now. but that's not the issue. The issue is prevention. That is the baseline like cause of anything. You have to get to those kids while they're young. You have to take care of them. You have to nurture them. And that is an investment.
Same thing
it's
with
not going to pay off
We're
until
not thinking about the long-term stuff. We want to just
talking
about what we do after the problems happen that we create.
Exactly. And that's why it's like we love Band-Aids as an American culture, but we don't love like I need to eat right, I need to exercise, and that's going to ensure that I have a long and healthy. We don't think that way because it's just like bam, 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 all in my face all the time. And that is kind of where we've gone to now. And I think it all started years ago with standardized testing and making basically a scoring metric for teachers and school districts on how well they do their job. It's like, actually, there's so much more that goes into education other than just taking a test, you know? And it's finally starting to peel back some of those layers from the Bush years and No Child Left Behind. And when I tell you that I have this like mental scarring of what that has done, like both of my parents were public school teachers in Alabama, and I just saw it coming down the pipe. I heard it from them all the time. I see it now as a school teacher and a coach myself, working with kids. Like it's a mind-boggling mess of this state does it that way, that state does it this way, and then your different, municipalities might do it slightly different as well. It's nothing to where it should be for the best country, number one, America. Like we're far from that as far as our education system is concerned.
Sorry. So because of the special night tonight, I didn't really almost forget, but we're going to do our last commercial break and then do final thoughts. But final thoughts are going to be on lightning tonight. But because we have to Geeking Out start at 10. And then there's a bed somewhere that's saying Duryea.
Yeah.
So
24 hours.
So close. We're almost there.
Almost there. I'm just like,
happy birthday.
Right. Pillow's gonna be clapping. All right. So I know. So let's do a short commercial break, and then we're gonna come back with our final thoughts. We'll see you on the other side of the ad.
Hi, this is Cody from Cody Paul Media. Thank you for joining me. Anybody can record a video, but the question is, how do you make that video stand out among the rest? A quick animated video like this one can change things around for your company, so go to codypaulmedia.com and get those needs met today. See you later.
That was commercials for Cody Paul Media, who did an editing segment today, Editing 101. You can find it. That was Cody Paul Francis from Cody Paul Media. You can find him at codypaulmedia.com. And the other ad was for the Springer Opera House, where you can find by going to springeroperahouse.org. They are having a outdoor theater festival to be COVID safe and to still bring art to the masses. So you should check that out. Find tickets. They're opening with Singing in the Rain outdoors, which is going to be fun. So this is lightning round because we got 9 minutes to do these. So excuse me for being rude ahead of time. So we're going to start with the people I think will be most succinct, and then we're going to end with Tristan. So,
Poor Tristan.
So let's start with Christine and work our way around.
I will try to keep this succinct. I didn't actually talk too much about this, but I do believe in police abolitionism. So
Hey.
I think it's important to draw a political and historical consciousness around who the police are, why they were formed, how they were formed, the history, like Tristan was saying, from slave patrols and from anti-labor movement into all the violence that they've used to basically keep the interests of the state in control. And I think that in order to do that, we have to continue educating ourselves about these reasons and looking for nonviolent external options to these matters. Yeah, I'd like to talk more about it, but that's it for now.
Excellent. T?
I just want to say that guns don't kill people. People kill people. So let's not.
And people with guns kill them faster.
And how many we can have.
I want you on our show.
I've never seen a gun just go off by itself. And
you clearly never watched Charmed.
Second, I believe that we need to. I believe that we just need to not necessarily generalize so much what the media is putting out that is happening with the police departments, but actually look and see what your local police departments are doing, and then make your assessments based off that. If they're protecting you, if they're doing their job, and you don't have violence there, then don't let what is happening nationally affect your overall thoughts and opinions. Police officers are there for a reason, despite what they were historically there for. And support your military, support your police officers. Not all of them are bad.
All right. Britt, no. Garrett.
Ouch. I'm with you, Tristan. Get out of here.
You said your name first, so if you're ready to go.
No, go.
Garrett.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So abolish.
That's why I'm stealing your best friend right there.
Abolish what? I was being polite.
I'm about to call her as soon as midnight hit. And just be like, hey, what are you doing, buddy?
Abolish the police. So when I think of that, I lean into it, but it does scare me to a certain extent. But what I've found in talking to people is that it's centered in community and centered in making things really small, and that your neighbors are taking care of you. And I think that's what we have to think about in this defunding the police situation, which is like the only way really abolishing the police is going to happen I feel in a safe way, because we're not in 1882 anymore. We are in 2021 where people got guns, and unfortunately our youth aren't educated or don't have families. So defunding and community, and like T was saying, look at where your money is going in your local community and see how we can fix the situations.
Brittany?
Okay, so yeah, no, I'm not anti-police at all. I feel bad for like what they've been going through. But I think that all these cops are going to be, because there hasn't been any accountability with police, anything that happens, all cops are going to be blamed for it at this point. It doesn't matter if they are doing anything wrong or right. It's just the lack of accountability that's been happening in our system. Other than that, I don't know. Come check out Politically Provoked on Friday for our abortion debate. And T, I would love to have you on, by the way. That's all.
Okay. Justin.
Okay. This means that you think I'm going to talk a long time. So
no, that just means I think you're going to talk longer. No, I just think you're going to talk longer than Brittany. Oh Lord.
Because I have a couple issues.
Y'all got 5 minutes, both of y'all.
First of all, nobody brought up qualified immunity when we're talking about defunding the police. So that's something that doesn't even require money to talk about, but it's in the conversation. Second of all, somebody's trying to be funny. What is lightning wrong? I know I have bad light. I'm sorry.
Final thoughts. Lightning wrong. Wait, who about that?
It's gone.
I know I look orange. Okay, I'm trying.
She was trying to tell you that you need to fix that lighting. That lighting over there is atrocious. That's what she was saying. I got your back, Rakia.
And then, my final thoughts are basically just whenever you're having a conversation with anybody, especially when you get into the weeds of like the details of your opinion versus mine, you have to remember that there is such a thing of, false equivalency. There are some issues that affect major swaths of the population of this country and others. And then there are others that are really just only affecting a very small and very vocal group. So when you start really digging into the details of it, the numbers matter. The actual literal numbers matter, and do your actual research. Don't listen to just your echo chamber of information. Like, think for yourself. Critical thinking is rare these days, and it's going to be worth your stress to put on some big boy panties and get into the actual mode of educating yourself fully, and not just what's easily accessible to you in your feed, in your stream, in your day-to-day circles of people that you come into contact with.
All right, Tristan. Come on. A minute.
Okay, so first and foremost, Garrett, you're very handsome. I just want you to know that.
Really, Tristan? How dare you? Tristan, that was like 8 levels of wrong what you just did, and we're going to talk about why when we get off the stream.
I'll take my birthday gifts, okay?
Oh, please,
we'll talk about why when we got off the stream. That was like 8. I'm gonna read you for filth when we get off the stream.
But besides that, because I just want to get that
Garrett.
out. So I just want to say, Deria, let me see. I was gonna love on you, Deria, but you doing a lot right now. Okay?
When I tell you why I'm doing this, you're gonna be like, oh. But keep going.
So, happy birthday,
right, Garrett. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Deria. Happy birthday.
It don't matter.
And on some serious stuff.
Thank you for real.
I just want to congratulate you on this whole 24-hour thing, and building a platform to have people come on and talk about different things and explore their passions and all that good stuff. I don't. It's not a small feat, bro. So at least soak it in and give yourself a pat on the back for sticking with it and pushing forward and legitimately putting in the effort and doing some really dope stuff.
Thank you. And it may have come at a high cost because I'm pretty sure I might get banned from Facebook from sharing all these streams all day.
Oh no! Is that what's happening?
I'm realizing that right now. It's like, I'm getting messages and shit. I'm like, y'all mad.
They'll put you in Facebook jail. You'll get it.
I was trying to be like,
they are trying to start.
Yeah, so I'm like, so if y'all don't, if Talk It Out is from now on Rakia's page, just follow suit. You know what I'm saying? Make the switch. But I really appreciate that, Tristan. When it comes to defunding the police, I usually have something I really point. Oh, let me try to. First of all, I want to thank everyone who is on the panel. It's going to be on your page because I got access to it.
No.
I got access to it. And what's crazy is, Rakia, every video I share every video to your page, yet they blocking mine.
Did. My coworkers asking me at school saying, "Hey, did you get any sleep last night? Because you were posting all night."
We saw you on Geeking Out.
I'm like, it's all automated. I promise you I went to sleep at some point last night.
Somebody said, your account is spamming. I said, no, that's not spamming. So I'm like, oh my God. So if I'm spotty or if I'm pulling a Trump and other people's accounts, you know what I'm saying? Just that is what it is. And we're going to share the love and share the Facebook space. Okay. But I'll say this. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for
hold up.
Right, I know. Thanks for Kia for working backstage. Thanks for every single person who's donated. At the end of Geeking Out, we're going to actually announce how much money we made today. So we're hoping that we hit. I haven't even looked. So we're hoping we hit 1,000. I have faith that we at least got close. I did.
Oh yeah, more than.
Hey! Brittany ruined my birthday surprise.
I'm sorry,
for later.
I'm sorry.
It's okay though. It's still exciting. So apparently but you can't say that now because now people are like, oh, he reached the goal, and then
my bad.
But if you haven't, it's still not too late because we still got 4,000 more that we have to make, that we have to save. But we're in a great start. We at least can pay for some sandwiches on set. So that's a big leap. So I really appreciate you all for being here. Every single person who's been a part of this. I'm going to give you another thank you speech at the end of this, but this is
I'll
talking
put in
out.
some more too, just for that.
Thank you. This is okay. Final thoughts. My final thoughts are, when it comes to community policies, right? It's really important that we start to think about the community as a whole instead of thinking about like an issue. I think that is where we have a lot of breakdowns, because it's like, let's do this and let's do that. I actually had a very long conversation with someone about trans issues, and we started talking about, how she felt like, I don't have enough energy to attack two things at once. So a lot of women chose to, like a lot of black women chose to be fighters for equality before women's rights. And I was like, well, the beautiful thing about having a community is while you're fighting equality, she can fight women's rights, and both are getting addressed at once. It doesn't have to be one or another. We need to be okay with multiple things happening at once, being able to prioritize a multitude of things. And when it comes to building a community, teachers, doctors, teachers, doctors, policemen, firemen. These are the kind of jobs that we need in our community, that we need to find a way to support, but that trust has to be established on both ends. So we need to figure out a way to do that. And I think that's at the root of the defunding problem, is we feel like so much money is going to an institution that we don't trust, and that doesn't trust us either. And I think that's where we get a lot of the friction. I want to thank everyone on my panel tonight. This was actually a really fun panel. I know certain people who every time they come on the show, they say I need to get out of your face by 10 o'clock. I don't like that I'm here past 10 o'clock. And they also say, I wish I knew what current events you would be talking about. And they said a whole bunch of things. And I just feel like hopefully this will at least be that one show where they can be like, okay, cool. So,
Don't
it
get
happened.
used to it though.
It happened, but every day in a 24-hour live stream. So, but anyway, I really appreciate you all being here. Are we going to do a commercial? Because we don't have time for the 10-minute commercial break. So what I'm going to show you guys is a clip I'm going to show you guys my favorite segment from The Spot, because I really like this segment. It's about 5 minutes, and that'll lead us into the next segment, which is Geeking Out. The Spot is a newscast sponsored by the Springer Opera House, where we do all kinds of stuff. We do interviews. I just interviewed Ty Mans, who is a film director, writer, producer. He's directed like Kim Fields, Keisha Knight Pulliam, and he just filmed like 2 movies in Columbus, and I interviewed him. That's not what you're going to see right now, though. But you can go to springeroperahouse.org and see it. But this is my favorite segment, because this segment is when I got to interview some actors who have side hustles. And it was just, I got to interview my best friend and a few other people. So I want you to take a look at this, and then we will see you on the other side of this for Geeking Out, and you'll see me, Mo, Julian, and Rakia. Thank you to everybody. And Talk It Out. I'm not going to say the tag. Y'all know what the tag is for Talk It Out, but it's 24-hour live stream. Next week will be on Thursday. Right. Next week will be on Thursday, our regular night and time. I love you all, and I will see you on the other hour.
Bye, Duria. Happy birthday!
Bye. I'm here with Casey Ross. You designed promotional art for the Winter Wonderettes.
It was fun to put together, and it turned out really nice.
I saw your drawings before I saw their costumes. I was actually really surprised at how accurate your drawing was.
Nobody was more surprised than me, I'll tell you right now. I got really close up pictures of the unfinished dresses, and I was like, okay, so they're gonna sort of look like this, and Googled what A-line dress looks like, and then I was like, okay, so I think I can put that together.
The learning never stops.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're humble, at least.
I'm humble. I'm like one of the best at being humble that you'll ever meet. So
really,
nobody's more humble than me. Nobody's more humble than me. You can ask anybody. A lot of folks are saying it. So.
After sitting down with Casey, it really got us to thinking. To truly be a successful actor, you absolutely have to be a hustler and a jack of all trades. So why not do a segment on side hustles? Check it out. We're here with Kristen Storla, Bam from Art Hard Studios, EJ Cameron, Casey Ross. What do you consider your biggest source of income?
Right now, outside of these government checks,
providing mom concierge services.
You do have a side hustle.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Caricaturist, cartoonist,
home organization.
So I owned a pool equipment repair business.
Drawer,
pet care,
team building, improv shows.
We repaired like motors, heaters, electrical systems.
I don't know, sketch artist.
And meal prep.
Or sketchy artist, I don't know.
What did I just do the other day? I did a bar mitzvah scavenger hunt.
Voiceover is still a booming business.
My job right now, I play Mordred, the evil fire wizard in Tournament of Kings.
I'm a Lyft driver.
House sitting.
Big medieval night dinner shows, and I shoot fire, and it's freaking awesome.
I wrote for an ad company for a little bit.
I'm a tour guide.
You went the entrepreneurial route. Were you nervous, literally being a business owner and being an actor?
The balance is tough. You will have times where you go, which one of these things is more important?
My side hustle had to become my main hustle.
Would you ever consider something like that, like starting a business?
It's a Jay-Z lyric, but he says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So yes. I am in the business of EJ.
Was your side hustle developed from any hidden talent?
Yes.
Okay.
My dad was a welder, builder, construction worker type, and so I was exposed to a lot of that stuff early.
How long have you been drawing?
As long as I can remember.
Truly, I think I've made a career here off of doing all the chores I had to do as a kid. I love filling a dishwasher and like getting
Really?
Right? Oh yeah. So I think that's something that a lot of young artists can fall into, being beholden to wherever the money takes them.
By specializing kind of on that one thing, I was able to both sustain myself financially and create a schedule that I could work around with my acting.
When it comes to balancing your work life, your side hustle, and your personal life, how was that for you?
It's difficult because, you know, my dad's Jamaican. Jamaicans got 18 jobs.
Between fairs, I do all my work on an iPad. So it's all very, very portable. So I'll just sit in my car, find a parking spot, and sit and draw.
We all budget out the same amount of risk. How much quality of life do you have and how much time do you want to devote to your career? And so everyone budgets that differently. And for me, like, I value my quality of life.
The money spot is finding those side hustles that aren't fully side hustles, that actually you're utilizing your actor skills, training your actor talents, and getting, you know, some of that cash. Skrill, if you will.
So what do you do for self-care?
I'm a cannabis user. I
just always make a little bit of time for myself.
And you know that's something that I've had to learn because I will just work.
Yeah, you got 20 shows, you got more shows than Tyler.
Drawing is a big part of that. My recliner is right next to the window. I roll the windows up, get a nice breeze going, and I'll just sit and draw, maybe with a glass of wine.
How you like the Terry Cruz of Facebook. You are wrong, boy.
Evaluate. Are you happy with the quality of life you're able to provide for yourself?
I should be asking you the question.
If you had any advice to give a young actor, what would that advice be?
Be kind to yourself, financially, emotionally, physically. Like, you're all you got.
You have to stop and celebrate your successes. You will be amazed how much work you have forgotten that you did until you actually take a beat.
One of the hardest lessons I had to learn in college, which was when you become a professional actor, your job is applying for work. It's auditioning more than it is actually acting. I would just say don't limit yourself. I think we are unparalleled in our ability to get into our own heads.
Sometimes it's good to say no and have fun. If you're not having fun, you're the butthole.